This episode is brought to you by Mortgage Workflow Partners and the Mastering Encompass series, both for users as well as administrators. You can find out all the information about it over at masterengencompass.com. Also, if you'd like to check out what we're doing on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel using the @MasteringEncompass handle. And make sure you stay up to date on all the information, not just with podcasts, but also video content that we bring to you as often as possible. Now let's get on to the episode. It's Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You know what that means. We're going to get together as a community in the mortgage community, and we're going to talk all about Mastering Encompass, and we're going to do it live. If you hear my dogs barking in the background, I'm sorry. They love to protect the house, and that's just what they do. So apologize for any background noise. Today's topic is going to be the best practices of custom print forms as opposed to custom input forms. Yeah, I know, Angela, it's like when my dogs bark, then your dogs hear it, and then they start to bark, and then people on replay, their dogs start to bark. It's like saying, hey, Siri, or Alexa, or hey, Google. I'm sure everybody's hating me right now for doing that, but it's a joke. Anyway, we get together in the community. We're live, and I appreciate everybody coming to talk about topics. As always, this is a community-based conversation, so I'd love to hear any questions, any things that are happening. I know that Candace and I still have to deliver back to the community a deeper conversation on milestones. That's a great takeaway. And so that's what this is all about. We're going to talk about an open conversation. And as I said earlier, today's all about custom print forms. But before we go there, I do want to point out something. I'm going to share screen as best as I can, and I'm going to show you something in the community that we're making changes because we heard feedback and we want to make it a better experience. So let me go ahead and share the entire screen. And when you come into mortgage.community, right now there's a lot going on. So sometimes it's hard to find things. So what we're doing over here on the left side is we're going to put all the replays in the Start Here community info. Right now, we've only moved over 3. The rest of the replays will always be here. So if you ever want to catch up on just the replays, regardless of the topics, they'll always be put over in the event replay space of the Start Here community info collection. So Mastering Encompass, obviously, if that's the event you're doing, you'll be down here under the Mastering Encompass. But ever looking for a replay, it'll be up in the event replays, and that should help hopefully alleviate some of the confusion. We'll see. And thanks for the feedback on that. If any other feedback about how to make the community less confusing and more valuable for you, just got to say something. Also, to those that are in the midst of receiving your $10 beverage of choice gift cards, a lot of Starbucks going out. Keep the referrals coming in. Remember, just refer 2 people into the community. Get them active and earn yourself a coffee or beverage or whatever it is you get from Starbucks, etc. So Brian wants to know, he's having again, Omaha, Nebraska. This is all Amy's responsibility here. So in the regional communities, I promise we're going to get the Philadelphia region cooking soon. I've just been honestly stuck to my desk. And Brian's got some thoughts happening over there in the Omaha region. So if you're in the Omaha, Lincoln, Northeast region and you want to be part of that group, join up over there. So let's get on to today's conversation. I'm watching the chat. So if you have anything you want to bring up, let me know. Custom input forms. Who is a fan of merge field code? Like, I'm going to put my hand down. Like, I'm adequate. I'm just adequate. There are people that are like super awesome at it, which to me, I thoroughly admire. Jody's like, I mean, if I have to write it, I'm with you, Jody. Like, I really don't like writing merge field at all because I'm not really good at it. I don't get a lot of practice. And like anything else, if you don't practice your skill sets, they'll become dull and rusty and usually not that good. So there's a couple of documents going to be attaching to this replay. Bob, you're killing me. So on screen, Robert's like, what's that? So on screen is a document that has been around the internet for a little bit. I'm going to make sure it's in the community, but it's a merge field help for Encompass. This has been given out publicly. You probably have a copy somewhere, but it's I think Cindy put it out on the internet. Yeah, Word docs, right? So if you right mouse click, you can toggle any particular field. And so this is meant to give you a structure, right? This was literally, this to me, when I first learned this, what this is to toggle this field, I actually thought, and this is a true story. This is going back to like 2005, or not 5, excuse me, 2006, 7, when Encompass first came out, and somebody asked me to put an X in a box on a custom print form. And I thought I actually had to program software to put an X in the box, not realizing it's just a wingding, right? That's just an image. So that's an image of an X. That's an image of an open box. This is an image of a check mark. This is an image. And you can find these in Word by inserting other images. So if you didn't know there were wingdings, now you do. They're just images. But what's important here is this guy. This guy is merge field, and it's a merge field to Encompass. You can't just type those in Word and then put it into Encompass always. There is a methodology of going into editing a custom print form in Encompass. Now in here, obviously what we've done is if we create merge field code and you import it, it might work just fine. But there's a correct way, or I should say a way that Encompass will understand what you're telling it to do versus not. And in this particular case, if you've never written an if-then statement in merge code, be advised that you can. Again, I'm not the best person to give you that. Wait, Robert, you're really serious? Like you don't like? Wait. You really don't know? You're joking with me. You know what? Right? Come on. No joking. Okay, so let me explain. So merge field is a way for you to customize a document. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, again, let me start there. So in Encompass, when we go to print, I'll bring up the Encompass print menu, right? So when we go to print something in Encompass, we come to the custom forms, and on this custom form, you can obviously create things that you want to print. So in particular, if you've got like an ARM disclosure and you want that ARM disclosure to, we'll preview it. If we want fields to go into the document that we print, that's merge code. Now you might not write it, right? So on here, it's like a borrower's name. That's actually merge code right there. Now it comes straight from, it's not hard, right? If you wanted to come in here and modify it, what you would do is go to settings and you'd go to ARM disclosure. You double click it, it would open Word, and you get this signature panel over here. So here's the ARM disclosure. That's merge code right there. That's a merge code field. If you want to toggle that, you can toggle it. You can see it's merge field, brokerage name 315. And there's a couple of ways to enter these. These are all merge fields, right? So yeah. The toggle stuff, no. So another way to do this, and this is what I really encourage everybody, if you're coming into an input form, a custom print form that you didn't create, my attitude is always Control A, and then different keyboards have different reactions. So yours might be Control F9, but for me, it's Shift F9. Try this again. Control A, Control Shift. My keyboard's going to kill me now. So basically what you're trying to do is toggle the entire thing into sharing your field code, toggling your field codes. My keyboard's not behaving right now, of course, because I'm screen sharing on recording. In any event, what I want you to do is this. And the reason why I want you to do this is because admins will sometimes bury white text onto a custom print form to get merge code to work properly. Specifically, if you've got anything in the footer or the header, you have to make sure that the field is referenced within the body. So if you ever have a custom print form situation where you're being told to put merge code in the footer or the header, you have to make sure it's also referenced in the body. And like Candace is saying, you have to put it in the body, and a lot of times you'll actually just convert the text, right? So if you convert that text to white, right, you won't see it unless you Control A, and then you can see it in there. So that's just something that, again, I want to make sure that everybody understands. Candace says, it's been just in the last couple of years that I've learned how to do those if merge things. I try not to use it because it's hard to manage. And I'm with you. So there's two things that really happen in here. Number one, it's hard to track, right? So maintenance is a big deal. Maintenance, figuring out where fields are on custom print forms is hard. And then even harder is if somebody writes merge code, like if-then statements, to figure that out as a system admin can be really hard. It's one of the reasons why, the field analyzer tool I've been talking about the last few meetings is really important, because that tool lets you see inside the merge code. So if there's a field hiding in an if-then statement on a custom print form somewhere, I can find it with the field analyzer. Other utilities, I have not been able to do that before. So it's really important that you understand what fields are being used on what custom print forms, and if they're being used at all. So I wanted to bring this up. I'm not going to save any changes. If you're not quite sure how to manage this, if you need to, always ask in the community. I'll give you guidance. I'm also going to post in the community this merge field for help on this replay. And then the next thing I want to talk about, because a lot of companies, when I meet with them, they go over these pre-application fee worksheets. And I want to share this on screen with you, because I find that a lot of companies don't understand that you have an alternative to what this looks like. So this is what companies typically use for a pre-application fees worksheet. And there's some merge code on here, but it's not the cleanest look. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we go into this file, and I filled in some stuff in the itemization, and I'm going to show on screen two examples. One is a pre-application fees worksheet, another is with some merge field code. And when we preview these, you're going to see the obvious difference. The first one you're going to see is going to, and you'll see it here on screen, it's very clean, right? It only shows the fees and lines that have values, as opposed to what a lot of companies use, which is out of the box. And this thing, again, if I had to compare, right, if you're a borrower, would you rather get this? Would you rather get this mess over 2 pages? The clean answer is the right one, right? This is what I want to see as a borrower, and this is what I want to give out as a salesperson, as a company. So that's what you can do with merge code, and that's what you really want to strive for, is something that makes the output be in line with what you would want to receive as a borrower. So I wanted to spend time with that. Keep the comments coming on there. Is anybody using Candace? Is like, is that one available? Maybe, Candace, but we have to debate milestones first. We got to you and me have to get on a schedule so we could do a live thing on milestones. Robert says, now I need to learn merge field stuff on custom forms. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Anyway, so Patty asks, any suggestions when working with tables? All right, so Patty, thanks for bringing up tables. I actually didn't have that on my agenda, but I thank you. So gang, on custom print forms, you can never use text boxes. Encompass cannot see inside of text boxes. You can only use tables, only. So you don't even have a choice. You have to use tables, because if you build a text box, Encompass is never going to produce what's inside it. So, so Patty, any suggestions when working with tables? Always, as Jody said, as Candace said, and as I would say, yeah, anytime that you want to align. So if we go back over into settings, and I'll go into pre-application fee worksheet with merge fields, because that's what everybody wants to talk about. We'll bring that over in here. So this entire thing is a table. And how do you know it's a table? You can tell from the layout. So everything's aligned in a table on here. And this way you can add and remove lines, both vertically and horizontally as you need to. It's the only way to do it. Like all of this, if you're ever doing any if you're ever doing any type of custom input form that is going to have either multiple rows or certainly multiple columns, you need to use tables, because even in Word, you can merge fields together using your merge function inside of Word. So you can build out your table the same way you would do with Encompass on the web input form builder. You're creating the layout to be exactly the way you need it to be, especially if you get values that run long. So, let's say this is broker fees, broker compensation paid to the broker. Well, that's never going to fit over to the right. You don't want that to offset your next margin to your right. You want it to wrap around underneath it and let the document grow longer. You could do that with tables. But if you didn't use it, it would completely screw up your whole layout. So, Patty, hopefully that helps. So again, this adds, and remember, it will look like a mess while editing. Yeah, so it's another thing, like when you're building out a table in here, when you're building out merge code, I always like to use the insert other for the field, because if I were to select something in here, it wouldn't put 12 in there. It would put property city, something like that, subject property city, and versus M_12 in the merge code. It's going to get you the same result, but it's just easier to format visually, kind of like this, right? Over here with the lone team member. Now, footnote, again, not on the agenda, but virtual fields, you have to use the insert in merge code. You cannot just type that in, or you cannot just put the field ID. If you want it to be something like lone team member, or even like document dot receive date or something like that, you need to make sure you use these categories over here. Otherwise, it will not fill in properly for those virtual fields. Also, while we're on this topic, enhanced conditions. Gang, this is another reason why moving to enhanced conditions is so helpful, because when you have enhanced conditions and you want to insert something by option, you have the ability to do like all the prior twos in ways that you can't do with standard conditions. And so, again, I know you guys are going to get sick of me talking about this until you do it, but you've got to get on your agenda to start your business moving towards enhanced conditions. It's part of the game plan. You gotta figure it out. And again, another value add, if your company is looking for a better way to present approvals or commitment letters, and you only want to display open conditions, this is how you can do it. You don't need any third-party tech. You can do it right through standard native technology if you move to enhanced conditions. So I feel like I got in the weeds there, but hopefully it's good. So Robert asked, did the enhanced conditions fix come out? Yes, it's all printing fine now, Robert. It's all printing fine. So you're good to go. Yes, yeah, it was. The 23.3 fixed it. It was actually, I think it was a hot fix before that, but the 23.3 cemented the fix. So you can print custom print forms reliably with enhanced conditions, perfectly fine. At least that's been my experience with all my implementation projects. So if you need any help, let me know. Enhanced conditions are not even on anyone's radar. They're on my radar, Angie. I'm telling you right now, they got to be on your radar. If anybody ever needs any help, we spend a lot of time with clients helping understand workflow and moving to enhanced conditions, because it's in the money. You're not paying any extra money. You don't have to pay a third party for automated anything. You can actually do it straight in Encompass. Yeah, but Angela says, I'm nervous because you can't roll back. But remember that you can build the experience. And if you have a testing environment, test the damn thing, right? Beth did enhanced conditions, and Beth was one of the people that was patient and trusting, because Beth and I realized when enhanced conditions were broke on the printing side. And so we worked it out with ICE, and ICE came through and fixed it. So yeah, Beth can share enhanced condition stories. She built it out really sweet, non-QM, wholesale, non-retail lender. So super creative. And yeah, for her company, Emporium TPO, again, if you're looking for a non-QM lender, get a hold of Emporium TPO, seriously. So More things on custom print forms. Margins have to be at least a ½ inch, guys. If you do less than a ½ inch, you're dancing with fire, because what will happen is sometimes Encompass will give you a little stupid message that gets buried behind other windows that says on the package print, like, hey, this print form is outside print margins. Do you want to continue? Nobody sees it. Everybody thinks Encompass is broken. Just keep your margins at a ½ inch or greater, and you'll be fine. I don't know if anybody's ever had that experience. I have, and it's a super pain in the ass. User groups. Remember that when you're building custom print forms, folderize. And the reason you want to folderize is so that when you come into your user groups, you can easily send them out because they're resources, right? Custom print forms are resources. And when you get into the resources tab, you can make sure that your custom print forms are only available to the people that you want them to be available to. Things like approval letters or even notes if you're doing consumer loans. Lots of things. Just make sure your custom print forms are only printable by the people that they're supposed to be printable. Candace adds, go back to enhanced conditions. Candace says, I want to do enhanced conditions. My business unit isn't on board yet because I can't find the right words to convince them why they're better. So I don't know what the business unit is, Candace, but I will tell you that the value in enhanced conditions for most businesses is the ability to automate the conditions to show up reliably and the ability to split out condition types so that you can make sure the right conditions are available to the right people at the right time, instead of them having to go through the entire list of conditions to find the ones you're looking for. Now, you might respond and say, well, that's what condition sets are for, to which I would say, no, not really. Enhanced conditions is a different solve. The biggest thing is the automation. Because on web-based business rules and workflow rules with the workflow engine, you can automatically insert a condition. Again, native, you don't need third-party tech. You can automatically make sure it's there in the file, on the fly, on loan save. So if you're using anything to automate your conditions, if that's holding you back, reevaluate. You really do want to move to enhanced. And if you need more convincing or more use cases, hit me up afterwards. I'll be glad to explain it in more detail to try to help you out. Hey, listen, gang, on the topic of real life use cases. So if your business is going in here and hitting and producing a package and they want to preview, right? So if this is a really bad example, let's do a custom print form. Let's go back to the merge field that everybody loves. We preview this and we now our business wants to now edit this document because they want to come in here and they want to type in stuff, right? If I could type, come on, keyboard. Oh, my keyboard's not working. My keyboard died. That's the reason why it's not giving me my shift thing. Rechargeable keyboard failed me. Still not working. Okay. So in any event, if they come in here because I'm in preview on PDF. Sorry, I'm in new doc viewer. This is my example. I can't edit this in here. This is a PDF. If your experience is that it spits up a Word preview, you're on the old doc viewer. I'm not even paying attention to what the hell I'm doing. This is the point. If your team is in the spirit of, I want to preview so I can edit before I send, then the new doc viewer is not going to be for you. Said differently, why are you still letting your company manually update the output? If they want to update the output, give them the ability to update the input. So make your changes or make your updates or whatever it is that you want to do in the loan file, and then print it. And if you want to preview it to make sure you know what the layout looks like beforehand, so be it. But that's the big thing for the preview for the old doc viewer versus the new doc viewer relevant to the custom print forms is that when you preview, if you're in the mood to preview a custom print form to make modifications, pay attention to which doc viewer you have. So on the chats, you guys are just talking about enhanced conditions. So Beth adds, if we get an appraisal XML back, right, this is all about automated conditions. And yeah, Robert, that's the advantage of using enhanced conditions. So Candace, maybe that's helpful. Angela adds, And by the way, Beth is Beth, keep me honest here. Beth is newer to, not new to Encompass, but it's been a while. I forget. And sorry for putting you on the spot. My point is it's if you keep it focused, you don't have to be like a high expert, like sensei kind of thing. You can, like, anybody can do enhanced conditions. You just have to spend time at it and understand what your business's value is. Angela goes back to custom print forms. To make an unused line on the pre-app blank, is it an if statement based on the amount? Yeah, it is. So you're doing two things in that code. You're making sure that you're only populating the label, right? So we're only populating this line if this label contains a value. Yeah, so that's only been an admin since June. And then you only populate the value tied to the label if there's a value. So basically you say only print the label if there's a value. Angela, I'm pretty sure that's what you're saying there. So I agree. Next thing is maintenance, right? So in custom print forms, we talked about this earlier really quick, but you got to make sure you leave time for maintenance. It's impossible to know if your business is actually printing these things. If I can get to the right place. So in your custom fields, in your print form, custom print forms, right in front of my face. So as you're creating this, you should make sure that your business is using them. And if they're not using them, get them out. Now you might say, Larry, like, I don't have time for that. I would say you need to really understand what's in your system as an admin and try to figure out what your business is doing in workflow. It's impossible to know if they're using it from here. You have to know what they're doing in workflow. So just keep an eye on things as you've made custom print forms, making sure that you've got a handle around who's using them and when they're using them, and if they need to be updated. Put version numbers in the bottom of your custom print forms. It'll help you understand which version, especially if somebody says something's wrong. You can make sure you identify which version. Jody asks, creating a quote dynamic pre-app statement to prevent empty lines. It can be a booger to keep in line. You have to end up stacking if statements on top of each other, then make sure the same conditions match. Yeah, you do. But good news is the itemization isn't changing. So the good news is that once you do it, you don't really have to worry about it after that. Unlike other parts of Encompass that do change a lot. Last two things I want to talk about is e-signatures and automation. This comes up a lot where companies want to see underwriting approvals have the underwriter's signature on it, so they don't have to print, save to desktop, open up Adobe or whatever, apply a signature, save it back, and put it in the e-folder. And so as an admin, you're typically asked, hey, how come they can't sign it in Encompass? And the answer is you can if you want. A custom print form can have an image, and you can use merge code to insert an image like we saw, right? This checkbox, I know this might sound crazy, but this checkbox is an image. That can be a signature image. Now, does your underwriter feel comfortable that their signature is stored inside of a system and could be used at any time, at any place without their knowledge? That's going to be your call and your company's call, and most importantly, your underwriter's call. If you're not old enough to remember robo signatures back from 06, it's real. So, if the platform is built in a way that only the underwriter can trigger that themselves because they're the printing person, then you can control it. But yeah, you can use merge code to control the application of signatures wherever you want, because signatures are just images. So use this concept of merge code in your custom print forms for commitment letters or approvals to think about how you can do that. So Danielle says this would be super helpful. Robert says, I need to know how to do that. And then Candace says, light bulb, I've created individual letters for some of my LOs for pre-approval letters that they can send via Encompass, never even consider the merge code. So Candace, yeah, if you've got a single document that you've now replicated for individual people, but it's all the same language or even mostly the same language, yeah, consolidate that into one, got one document with merge code. This gets me back to custom fields. Remember, layer in custom fields, guys. If you're using the thought of merge code to enter information that could be evaluated into a custom field, and that custom field could be a paragraph, do it in a custom field and then apply the custom field here. Do the code in custom field way before you do the code in merge code. That's my advice. And the last part is automation here for custom print forms. Like anything else, it's an object inside of Encompass, and based upon either a plugin or if you do it from an input form, Jody actually posted the code earlier and I put it as an article, but how to automate the printing of documents to the E folder. If you missed that, go do the search or ask if you need to find where that is. So Candace says it was the LO signature images that was creating individual letters for. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know why an LO is signing anything, which is weird on a pre-approval, but if that's your business doing that and they don't care about the LO signature, sure. If that's the only reason why you're creating individual documents, you could use merge code for that. And that's me talking real fast for 30 minutes about custom print forms. Again, I'm going to post out the merge help for Encompass fields on here. I'd encourage you to test this, guys. Like, here's the code for that one that I showed you. I know it's real easy and tempting to like say, hey, Larry, can you just send it to me? But you're not learning. So I really want you to learn. And I want you to explore this, and I want you to, talk about it as a community. And if you get stuck, ask for help. Can you post the link to the script on printing? That's out there, Angela. Yeah, we'll put a link in this takeaway for. We'll hook you up. Candace says we have a $20,000 guarantee. Holy crap! A $20,000 guarantee letter. Sign me up. How do I get my 20,000 grand? What do I have to do to force them to give me the 20,000? Never missed a closing? All right. Sounds like a challenge. Anyway, hey guys, I really appreciate you coming to these events every Tuesday and at 4 p.m. and Thursday at 1 p.m. We've got a whole track for the rest of this year. Keep coming. Jody's got a final thing that says, thing to remember that is that merge fields will happen on the line that it's called down. You'll need to make something to appear the same line to make sure it keeps running if a statement. I'm going to take that to mean, guys, merge code is like any other code. It's got to work properly in order to work. Candace says we promise to pay the seller. Oh, it's a seller thing. That's an interesting concept. Appreciate you sharing that, Candace. Jeannie, you're welcome. Kim, you're welcome. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We're getting close to the end of the month. Next week will be right before Thanksgiving. So I think next week we only have Tuesday. So I'll see you Tuesday, hopefully. Have a great week and weekend. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.